Hello, can always come join the show. Positude podcast is where we go. Slip on your comfy clothes just right. Grab your coffee, feel the light. Maggie Heart will guide you right through the day and through the night. Laugh and learn and feel so free. Dive into this mystery. Every week we bring the flow, fresh and fun and all in love. Survival skills and healing too. Dance along to sounds and news. Current events and theories right. Meditation soft and light. Growth and positivity. Mind and soul in harmony.
Good evening, cannolis, and welcome to another episode of the Positude podcast. I'm your host, Maggie Hart, here for another exciting week. It's been a little crazy this week with all of the smoke from the wildfires coming down from Canada. Or at least that's what they tell us the smoke is from, and the really weird orange skies that I experienced 2 days ago for the entire day. It definitely looked Armageddon-like, let me tell you. It was super eerie about 7:30 at night. The sky was lit up and it was bright, but it was cloud covered. It was like an orange glow behind the clouds, and that was from the time I got up pretty much into the early evening. But then for some reason it became brighter in the evening. I didn't detect much of the smell, but then yesterday, holy crow. It smelled very rubbery and plasticky, like somebody was burning tires. It was disgusting. And the same today, although not as intense. Today the skies were clearer, but the smell was still there. So we went from a creamsicle-colored sky to, I feel like I've smoked 3 packs of Canadian wildfire today. It's affecting my nasal passages and my sinuses and a little bit of mucus in the chest going on, but when I went to the store today, people have dug out their COVID fabric masks for the occasion. The news has recommended that anybody that's hanging outside wear an N95 mask, but no, these geniuses gotta go back to those cloth masks because the smoke's not doing enough damage to their lungs and depriving them of enough oxygen. They gotta stick a diaper on their face so that they have even more impeded breathing and less oxygen getting into the system. Liberal logic gets me every time. So they probably smoked the equivalent to 5 packs of Canadian wildfire today. And Kathy Hochul's probably trying to figure out a way to tax everybody for it. So we may as well get a beverage to go with our smoke. Grab a snacky snack. Hopefully you're in your comfy clothes. Hop onto your big comfy couch, chair, floor, or wherever you find comfortable, and let's get started. Hopefully some of you have taken my advice from last year and the year before and gotten an air purifier in your home. I predicted at last year in January's prediction show that we were going to need them, and here is yet another occasion where they will definitely come in handy, not just for the chemtrails, but for situations like this, unless of course you'd rather wear a mask. And for all of those people that I talk to that say, yeah, I really need to get one of those things one of these days. Is it time yet? I'm seeing reports all across the internet where supposedly there are a lot of toxic things in, especially these forest fire fumes. So please make sure you're detoxing regularly as well, and actually you might want to amp that up a little bit. And if you haven't taken steps to start your own detoxification progress and those supplements and that foot bath are still sitting in your Amazon shopping cart, I ask you again, what are you waiting for? My eyes have actually been stinging and burning the last couple of days too, so I'm wearing sunglasses or glasses when I go outside. I'm putting the Vicks in my nose and I'm covering my ears because my ears were hurting yesterday as well. So it's pretty nasty stuff. I've also upped the antioxidants that I give my animals. They're getting some more blueberries and a couple more cranberries and pumpkin in a little higher doses, still being cognizant of how many they're supposed to have for their weight. And I would suggest you do the same with your pets and keep them inside as much as you can. Dust off those board games in the closets for your kids maybe and give them some fun stuff inside to do. And keep everyone as safe and comfortable as you can. Make ice pops and ice cream and fun summer treats with them indoors. I've seen some really cute videos that people did of breakout type rooms in their living rooms with balloons and string and fake gemstones and treasure hunts. All kinds of cool stuff. Use your imagination. Speaking of ice cream, let's jump right into the clippies. The first one I'm going to tell you about has to do with food. A guy tells you how to check the labels on your food to look for things that are kosher, organic, verified, have the little U symbols or the verified non-GMO labels. I played similar clips once or twice before, but now it's even more important that we watch what we put into our body because we have things that we're breathing in from the sky that aren't the best for us. So today when I was at the grocery store, I actually looked for the kosher section and checked out some of these symbols, and I've seen them before, and I found some concentrated in the kosher section today. But what surprised me was quite a few actually of the packages in the section where I was shopping anyway contained products that had artificial ingredients and flavorings and things like gummy bears. So they were considered kosher, I guess, by their standards, but not necessarily non-GMO or pure, at least by my standards, which I found kind of surprising. I don't know if any of you guys have encountered that where you're shopping, but either they've lowered their standards or somebody's getting fired from the grocery section. So when you hear the clippy later, keep that in mind, and next time you go to the grocery store, check it out and see what you find in your area. I was in there inspecting a bag of tortilla chips like I was Indiana Jones decoding an ancient temple with all of the little symbols on the package, and then disappointed. Well, I guess I'm not buying these. It had the certification hieroglyphics, but not the organic or all natural. I got another clippy of a guy that's feeding fruits and vegetables to animals in the wild, and the animals reject one pile and happily eat the organic produce from Aldi. Great. Squirrels are food critics. Even the raccoon is standing there like, chef, this tomato lacks integrity. Stop shopping the big box stores, will ya? And since last week we talked about the watermelon rinds, this week I've got one about homemade watermelon ice cream. Apparently it's amazing for your body. Finally, a health food that doesn't taste like regret. And I'm going to let that one double for my recipe video this week. I got a clippy of a lady who says one trip into the forest gives you 30 days of immune support. 30 days. And here some of us have been chomping vitamins like fools, so the tree is looking at us like, you could have just visited. And then comes a clippy asking whether the Pentagon hid information about the body's ability to regenerate. At this point, every internet sentence starts with, what if they never told us? And then, welcome to the new timeline. Movie titles change, logos change, names change. Half the comments say, I remember it differently. The other half say, no, you're just old. Did you hear about the Joel Osteen one? It's Joelolsteen. That's the way everybody remembers it, but now he's Joel Osteen. No L. No L. See what I did there? But seriously, no L in Olstein. And a few others we'll talk about when that clippy comes up. And somebody points out Sarah Connor went after data centers before anyone else. In Terminator 2, I think it was, where she was in the facility. We just talked about this clip a couple weeks ago, maybe a few weeks ago, but that's the reason she's supposedly in there, is because she sees ahead to when her son gets older and is trying to help him out so he can survive and accomplish his mission. So she's going after data centers, as we'll hear in a clippy coming up. Also, Prince apparently uncovered truth bombs, and a bunch of them, him when he was alive, so I have a compilation clippy about some of his awesome insight. Truth bomb. The internet loves those words nobody ever uncovers. Mildly interesting observations. And we're going to take a little dip into concentration camp conspiracy clippies. My algorithm doesn't believe in easing into a topic. It's either recipes or civilization collapsing. And Netanyahu makes a double shot again tonight. Apparently the U.S. and Israeli military merge is starting in 2027. This is incredibly scary stuff, and he's poking his nose into our House and Senate too. And Trump supposedly fired a bunch of election commissioners. The internet reacts the only way it knows how. 47 tabs open, everybody talking and nobody reading the article. And another immigrant warns us about Iran. He's telling everybody we need to stand up. But buddy, I've been standing since 7 o'clock this morning. Can I sit down for 5 minutes first, please? Get some fresh coffee maybe? And a guy donates a pair of sneakers and puts a tracker in them. Instead of imagining a grateful kid wearing them, he ends up playing CSI Goodwill Edition, and his discovery will have you angry. And I got another clippy where a group of men say that they walked to the United States all the way from India. How is that even possible? Obviously they were flown somewhere, Mexico or somewhere, but they will not admit it. So were they paid to keep quiet? Because we're missing an airplane chapter in this novel. And Lindsey Graham died this past week, and the rumors have started to fly, not only about where he died, but what he was into before he died, and also that another politician may be secretly dead. Seems like some of the ones that were allegedly dirty are dropping like cockroaches. And he's got a theory about that too. You'll have to listen and see what you think. And we got Mondami again in the news. New York politics shows up again. I swear New York has become its own Netflix series. Every week, every episode, new plot twist with Mondami in office. And there's debate over a new animal rabies vaccine. This one does not make me happy at all, folks. And every dog is just thinking, I literally just came here for a biscuit. Little do they know what they're in for. And then I got a clippy about the Amish. Every internet philosopher eventually reaches this conclusion. The Amish knew something. The Amish are just over there building barns, completely unaware they're winning the internet. And did you hear about the guy with an extraordinarily high IQ of like 262 or something? Says God exists and reality might be a simulation? He says it is a simulation, actually. Imagine being the smartest guy in the room and everybody's still arguing in the comment section. Instead of a big healing section tonight, I'm going to do a couple clippies about miracles, because these are the kinds of stories I wish the algorithm would give me first. And also, a kid walks up to a school board, pulls out a recorder, and just starts playing. After everything I'd watched today, seriously? That might have been the sanest 5 minutes on the internet. So let's jump right into the health clippies. I've got a quadruple shot from Dr. Bibe, Dr. Johnson, Olajigibu, I can't even say it, Drew Cannoli, and Crystal's World Official.
Code on your food that tells you if it's actually safe, and nobody ever taught you how to read it. Look at the side of any package in your kitchen right now. If you see any of these symbols, a circle with a U inside, that's kosher. A K with a star next to it, that's also kosher. A little H or a crescent moon, that's halal. The green USDA organic seal, the orange butterfly that says non-GMO project verified, these aren't just for religious people. These are for everyone. Here's what most people don't realize. Every one of those symbols means a third party inspected that food, not the company, not the FDA. A completely separate organization that came in and checked the ingredients, the factory, the whole supply chain, multiple times a year. That's why these certifications mean something. And here's the wildest part. Only 20% of Americans buy kosher food on purpose. Studies show 55% of people buy kosher because they believe it's higher quality, cleaner, safer, and the data actually backs them up. That's why I try to consume only kosher food products. Without these certifications, you're trusting that the company processed your food correctly, and you're trusting that they didn't add anything sketchy. I don't know about you, but I ain't trusting these people. With these certifications, somebody outside the company actually checked. That's the difference. Next time you go to a grocery store, look for the kosher symbol, look for halal, look for USDA organic, look for non-GMO project verified. The more symbols stacked on the package, the cleaner your food. Share this to spread awareness and follow for more health stuff they don't teach you.
Oh, by the way, I've cracked the code. I figured out the shadow organization.
Has anybody anybody notice that the birds, the deers, raccoons, they will not eat grocery store vegetables anymore? Like, I put out 3 cans of tuna for the feral cats that live in my neighborhood 3 days ago. They haven't touched it. These are hungry cats. They won't eat this tuna. I went out there after putting grapes that I got from a major retailer. It starts with a K. I don't want TikTok to come after me. I put celery, grapes, and some green pepper and broccoli that I let sit in my crisper too long. I took it out there. It's still sitting out there. I've seen the birds pick at it and they didn't want it. I've seen the deer walk right over top of it. I've literally got peaches out there that I got from another big box store. Everything I have bought from Aldi under the organic section, if I put it out there, the animals, they go right after it. But that store that starts with a K, if the animals don't want to eat it, man, I'm done shopping at that place.
Let's find something sweet for breakfast. Oh, look at that giant blackberry.
This is disgusting.
Why am I just finding out that if you freeze a watermelon, grate it into a bowl, put a little lime and a little honey on it, you just made the best ice cream that money could buy? But here's what nobody's talking about. What this is actually doing in your body when you eat it. Did you know that watermelon is the single richest food source of L-citrulline on the planet? L-citrulline converts to L-arginine in your kidneys, which your body uses to produce nitric oxide, the molecule that literally relaxes and dilates your blood vessels. Lower blood pressure, improves circulation with faster recovery. It's also the highest source of lycopene of any fruit or vegetable on Earth. Lycopene is a carotenoid that obliterates free radicals and protects your cells from oxidative damage at the membrane level. Add the raw honey, you get the antimicrobial enzymes and the natural prebiotics. Add a little lime to it. This is the Candida crusher, the fungus killer, which makes the lycopene more bioavailable, and your body literally absorbs more of it when you squeeze the citrus on it. Add honey and lime. It's good for your soul and it's good for your body, baby. I'm Drew Canoli.
One forest trip, 30 days of immune protection. Researchers didn't expect that either. Trees release invisible compounds into the air called phytoncides. You breathe them in without even realizing it. Dr. Ching Li at Nippon Medical School spent years measuring what happens to the human immune system inside a forest. What he found surprised even him. Natural killer cell activity, your immune system's ability to identify and neutralize threats before they take hold, increased significantly after a single forest stay. And those effects lasted up to 30 days after leaving. Your body was not just relaxing in that forest, it was rebuilding. That deep breath between the trees, it is not just filling your lungs. It is telling your body it is exactly where it was designed to be. Not because the forest changed you, because it reminded your body what home feels like.
Did the Pentagon hide that the human body can regenerate itself in under 48 hours for 61 years? Insiders claim that in 1965, a classified research program inside the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, aka DARPA, confirmed something that would destroy the entire pharmaceutical industry overnight. Human tissue, including nerve cells, organ tissue, and spinal cord fibers, can fully regenerate when exposed to a precise electromagnetic frequency window between 7.83 Hz and the 14.1 Hz. The project was codenamed Operation Lazarus. They tested it on 214 soldiers with catastrophic battlefield injuries, burns, severe tendons, and shattered vertebrae. 94% of subjects showed complete tissue regeneration within 36 to 48 hours. Bone fractures healed in 4 days instead of 6 weeks. Nerve damage previously considered permanent reversed entirely, and 2 paraplegic soldiers regained full mobility within 11 days. The lead scientist, Dr. Robert O. Becker, later published fragments of this research in his book, The Body Electric, and, of course, was immediately stripped of all federal funding, blacklisted from every university, and erased from medical history. Here is what they classified. Your DNA would then not be a fixed code, but a receiver. Every strand of your DNA operates as an antenna. It receives and transmits electromagnetic information. When your body is exposed to the correct frequency, your DNA activates repair sequences that mainstream medicine says are impossible. The 7.83 Hertz, aka the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's electromagnetic resonance, activates stem cell production. 10.5 Hertz triggers full body cellular regeneration. and the 14.1 hertz repairs neurological damage and restores synaptic connections. Your body was designed to heal itself. They just turned off the signal. Why? Well, maybe because a cured patient is a customer lost. Remember, the global pharmaceutical industry generates $1.48 trillion every year. Every dollar depends on just one lie: that the human body cannot heal itself without chemical intervention with pills that create side effects. In other words, new diseases. If true, Operation Lazarus would then prove that this is false, already back in 1965. The claim is that this is not just a theory, but documented Pentagon research. Of course, Google or AI won't budge on this one. So, you let me know what you think. Could frequency healing be the future of medicine?
And the Illuminati know that they're finally primed for world domination.
Okay, for those of you worried about your lettuce and the cyclospora outbreak, I have a cheat sheet for you. Anything sold by Taylor Farms, Earthbound Farms, Little Salad Bar, which is Aldi, Market Side from Walmart, Kroger House brand, which is the K that I think that guy was referring to in the video about the animals, Target private label greens, Costco salad kits and greens, etc., Trader Joe's chopped salad kits and fresh produce, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Yum Brands companies, Chipotle, Subway, Pizza Hut, KFC, Olive Garden, Red Lobster, and Burger King. I was pretty upset about this one because I have baby spinach I give the puppies from Aldi, and I did have some of their organic greens. It's not their little salad bar, but either way, we won't be consuming any of those for a while. Thankfully, my lettuce is finally coming in the garden. Just another reason to have a garden. We're going to bounce right into conspiracy theory time with Clippy from Jatara, Frequency, Lavish Mock, Conspiracies in History, and then we'll spend a second on other things that have changed in the timeline. Allegedly.
Yeah, I just wanted to welcome everyone back to the timeline where the sun is yellow again. Chick-fil-A is spelled with A again, and the cornucopia is back on Fruit of the Loom logo. Hey y'all, welcome back.
Do you remember in the movie The Terminator, Sarah Connor was thrown into an insane asylum for destroying data centers that were owned by Palantir, Skynet, because she knew that her son in the future was fighting a war that was waged against the people by an oligarch, demonic, technocratic, feudalist states, Skynet. And she knew that she had to destroy the data centers now so to avoid that horrible technocratic demon state future that was owned by Palantir, Skynet. Yeah.
So you've got black helicopters coming across the border, puppet masters for the New World Order. Be aware, there's always someone that's watching you.
I don't think we were supposed to watch television and take on all the problems of the world. I don't think the body's equipped for that. No, there should be just a day that TV just goes off. Maybe a week the TV just goes off. What's so bad about that? In time, we're going to find out that all of the media is a misconception. Anytime you place your life outside of yourself, you're going to suffer grave consequences.
Don't be fooled by the internet. It's cool. It's cool to get on the computer, but don't let the computer get on you. It's cool. It's cool to use the computer. Don't let the computer use you. You all saw The Matrix. There's a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. And the prize is the soul. So, let's be careful. Very careful.
Birthdays, you don't like birthdays?
No.
No, I'm not into that.
No. We came here not knowing that we were going to die. Somebody told us that. And if we never knew we were going to die, we wouldn't celebrate a birthday.
But isn't it nice to celebrate the day you was born?
I'll celebrate the day I die.
Because you're going to move on to the next path in life.
Yes. Well, for example, you had how many birthdays?
Me? What do you think?
Well, I know that you had one birthday.
Yeah.
You were born on a certain day. You had no more birthdays after that. So I don't celebrate birthdays. So that stops me from counting days, which stops me from counting time, which allows me to still look the same as I did
it'll be unconscionable to even think you can take somebody's creation and claim ownership of it. See, unfortunately, this discussion is going to start to barrel into a discussion about the human genome and the DNA and all the rest of it. When it gets there, then we're going to be in the deep water. See, so it's better to start the conversation now before we get into God talk. You know, when I was a kid, I used to see these trails in the sky all the time, and so that's cool. A jet just went on. And then you started to see a whole bunch of them. And next thing you know, everybody in your neighborhood was fighting and arguing, and you didn't know why. When I found out there were 8 presidents before George Washington, I wanted to smack somebody. You know, I wanted to know why I was taught otherwise.
Okay, so with the CERN shut-off, some of the things people are reporting on is the sun is now yellow again. We talked about that, I think, last week. Birds are showing up again. I have birds plentiful in my yard again, and a lot of people are saying the same thing. They didn't see any birds, now they're seeing birds. Women are missing or being late on their monthly cycles and having double cycles in the space of a month, but they're not pregnant. Ricky says, Lucy, do you care to splain in I Love Lucy instead of, Lucy, you got some splaining to do, which I have been saying literally all of my adult life. But that's supposedly not a thing anymore. And Bewitched. Supposedly Samantha wriggles her mouth now, not her nose, which if anybody remembers the episode with Tabitha was learning to wriggle her nose and used to put her finger on her nose to physically move it. And Fruit Loops. It had become FRUIT loops, and now it's back to FROOT loops. Just a few things people are commenting on. What do you got? Send it to me in the comments here on the chat room or by email, Maggie, MAGGIE_heart@outlook.com. And I don't know if this next one's a Mandela effect or not, but breaking news, RFK Jr. says doctors will now get paid to take patients off unnecessary medications. Groundbreaking historic win here. No more rewarding over medication. This could be the beginning of putting patients first, according to the Hodge twins. Hopefully we'll see some results soon. I'm not exactly sure how he's going to do that, but stay tuned. And the FBI raids a $35 million California mansion of Iranian dual citizens supplying tech to Iran's nuclear program. He lived like a king in Southern California while allegedly funneling American tech to America's enemies. FBI just ended the party, that according to America First HD. This was in Newport Coast, and the guy they arrested was 63-year-old dual U.S.-Iranian national Jamshid Gomi. He's the CEO of a Tehran tech firm who spent years routing U.S. origin networking, security, and encryption equipment to Iran's military and nuclear programs via UAE front companies. He allegedly laundered millions back into the U.S. to fund his luxury lifestyle while reporting tiny income and claiming low-income tax credits. The feds are looking to seize his mansion. He could get up to 20 years in prison if convicted. If you ask me, that's not enough time. And according to Profilo Politics, Chevron signs a major Iraqi oil deal to bypass the Strait of Hormuz, opening a new export route that could reshape global energy markets. This next one from Esoteric Jake is explicit, so please, if you have children, send them in another room. If you're in the office, put your headphones on.
The FBI made a raid on an adrenochrome clinic. Adrenochrome is the drug in the blood of young children that once a young child gets whipped up into a frenzy of fear, they drain the blood off of these children. Well, 305 people were arrested, and the majority of the people arrested turned out to be FBI agents with dual citizenship to Israel. That's right. This is causing such a stink in Washington that Pete Hegseth is having to go on an emergency meeting to meet with Benjamin Netanyahu and the higher-ups in Israel to discuss what's going on. Because now the American citizens know that the people that are responsible for the Child Protective Services in the United States are tied to this event. The lady that runs the Amber Alerts in the United States was found to be connected with Jeffrey Epstein and is on the Epstein list. So now, not only are they using school pictures to choose your children from a selected database, and then they use Child Protective Services to target children and extract these children from the homes and take them to these places, these centers, where they drain the adrenochrome drug off of their blood and eventually kill them. This is what's happening in the United States, and the United States government is connected to it. The FBI and Israel are linked at the hip. This is one entity. There was a slip of fate that this arrest and bust happened because of the dual citizenship of the FBI agents that were working in and for this facility. Not only working in the facility, but the FBI agents with dual citizenship were collecting children from around the country. That's right, the FBI agents were collecting children, kidnapping and collecting children from around the country.
And still the government won't admit they fake a whole moon landing. Thought control race, psychotronic scanning, don't mind that. I'm protected because I made this hat from aluminum foil.
Next up, the concentration camps with Short and Sassy 75.
If this is true, I am so glad I checked the box the way that I did.
They were planning to build a network of concentration camps for Americans who didn't like the new system. They were planning to re-educate us in there. And the guy who infiltrated, you can watch the interviews he did. His name was Larry Grathwell, working for the FBI. He asked them, well, what do we do with the people who can't be re-educated? They're just, die-hard capitalists or whatever. And they said to him, we're planning on having to exterminate about 10% of the American population, about 25 million people we plan to liquidate in these camps. So that's the kind of guy that the SPLC thinks is a model educator for your children.
That's incredible. I mean, and they say it out loud. They don't hide it.
That's right.
Of course, that's a similar message that we've heard from the Club of Rome, for the World Economic Forum people. We've heard this from people at the UN. We've heard this from people at, Bill Gates type people.
Yeah.
Gates with his 10% reduction. If we get vaccines just right, we can cut the population by 10%.
Yep.
There really is a broad belief in this, what we call the Malthusian, right? For people that are tracking along, ISIS, John Malthus guy for a long time ago, or Thomas Malthus for a long time ago.
By the way, wasn't SPLU caught? That's what I thought.
And now a triple shot from Misfit Mama, Eric Mutzos, and Red, White, and Blue News 29.
Drawing down of foreign aid from the United States to Israel be compensated by the proposal to have a merging of some sort between our Pentagon and your military?
Yeah, I'm calling it from aid to partnership. So we take away the money that is given to Israel, which is one part, but the other part is we co-invest in equal measures in the new technologies that are needed to give our military and your military the advantage. So there are some unbelievable projects. So we invest jointly and take the fruits equally. You move from aid to partnership, and I think that represents what Israel is. Now remember, the other thing is that we share with America unbelievable intelligence to save American life. General Keegan has said that when he was working in American intelligence,
the darkness is finally coming to light. So you know that language in the bill they tried to sneak in where they were merging the U.S. military and the Israeli military? Can you guess who gave the language to the United States to do that, Bill? Can you guys guess? Thanks to House Democrat Ro Khanna for saying the quiet part out loud. He says this, let me be clear, Netanyahu is the one that actually told members of Congress to add Section 224, merging the U.S. and Israeli militaries into the bill. This is why there is no left, there is no right. We all need to be speaking truth right now. Thank you, Ro Khanna.
The American people are tired of the arrogance and insolence of Prime Minister Netanyahu telling America what we should do. The entire country of Israel has a GDP
that is less than a single town in my district. Yet somehow Netanyahu thinks he can tell the American people what we should do. The person who's most upset with him right now is President Donald Trump. And everyone in America, whether you're a Republican, an independent, or a Democrat, says that we need to tell Netanyahu that America calls the shots, not the prime minister of any other country. They want less cooperation and blank checks to Israel, not more. Only the United States Congress would dream up at this moment, let's actually do more for Israel, not less. And that's what Section 2024 does. It's a pretty simple thing. Should we do more for Israel than we already do, or should we do less? If you think we should do more for Israel, you should be against my amendment. If you think we should do less for Israel at the time that he's arrogantly telling Donald Trump what to do, then you should be for my amendment. Now let me just be clear. Mr. Netanyahu actually wrote to a member of Congress to put this Section 224 into the bill.
And there it is.
We're headed for your line, in case an alien's inclined to probe your butt or read your mind. Looks a bit peculiar. Seems a little crazy, but someday I'll prove there's a big conspiracy.
People, we need to be all over this, writing your elected officials and not stopping. Israeli does not need to be merged with the United States military. This is big. This is really big. Kind of fits prophecy, too, if you know what to look for.
The slaughter case was the big case today. That was really a big case because it gave strength to presidents and strength to the presidency. A very important case. It's been going on for almost 100 years, think of that. And this was the ruling that really topped everything by a lot today. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here.
Let's listen to this next one from Guy with Stringer 3.0.
There's going to be a tough one. Listen to the brown men. If you don't like to listen to white people because you think they are racist and blah, 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 then listen to someone who has been there and have seen it himself. I saw a child getting their hand cut off for stealing. Okay? This is how they behave. Those Islamists, they're invading your country. This is not some protesting. Not some like, oh, just for some president in their country or some blah, blah, blah. They are invading your country. They are showing you, we are here. What talk are you going to do now? Nothing. As always, you will bow your head in front of them. And if you don't believe in their God, they will cut it off. They will cut your head off. And now you're saying this guy is crazy, never blah, blah, this cannot happen in Europe. It happened the last 2,000 years in a lot of countries. Okay? Iran, right now. Don't you see what is happening? Women are being whipped with a whip for not wearing a hijab. When before it used to look like Europe. You guys are tolerating everything so much you're tolerating your own death at this point. And don't blame them. Don't blame the Jews. Don't blame the government. Blame yourself for not standing up and doing anything. You guys are crazy.
Wake up, America, before the end of life.
Next up, Night God 333, the immigrants who claim they walked from India and won't tell anybody where they caught the plane or the plane dropped them off, and Money Mine News.
Listen.
Where are you from?
India.
India? What, you too?
Yeah.
How long have you been walking? All day?
All day.
Did you fly into Mexico and then walk the rest?
Walk.
But where did you fly into?
What?
Where did you fly into? What city?
No, only walking.
How do you walk from India? Are you from India too?
Pakistan.
Oh, Pakistan. Pakistan? Pakistan? Bangladesh. Okay. And how did you guys fly into Mexico and then walk in the rest of the way? Walk? How did you get from Pakistan over to here? You from Pakistan too? Oh, India? India? India. Okay. Yeah, we ran into some of your friends over there. Yeah, this way. Yeah, it is. Okay.
That entire group just claimed to have walked to the United States from India. How is that possible?
This guy donated his old shoes to a Red Cross container in Germany to find out where they really go, but what he found might just piss you off. Because what he decided to do was to put an air tag in the shoes to see exactly where they were going to go. So he took the air tag, planted it in the shoe, and then sent them off only to find that the shoes ended up in Bosnia. He then decided that he was literally going to fly to the location to see exactly where the shoes were and exactly what they were doing with them. And after traveling hundreds of miles to go find his shoes and track down exactly where they are, he actually found them in a shop in Bosnia. He was able to buy these shoes back for just $12. And when he was buying them, he asked the staff where the shoes actually came from. And the only thing they said was that they came from Germany, but there was no mention of the Red Cross whatsoever. Which makes people wonder, where do the shoes that people donate to the Red Cross actually go? Are they going to people in need like they're supposed to be, or are they just being resold so that other people can profit from it? But thank you to Mo for running this experiment so we can get more data on where this stuff really ends up.
Next up, the two about Lindsey Graham from Dennis Michael Lynch and Hardcore Closer.
Lindsey.
Whether you loved or hated Lindsey Graham's not the point of this video. The point of it is that he's an American citizen, and just 5 days ago the Iranians were calling for his death. And now Iranian state television is celebrating his sudden death out of nowhere and saying that he's in hell. I have news for President Trump in case he doesn't know it already. The majority of people have had it. We're tired of Iran. We're tired of this ongoing war. Let's stop playing games and take these Islamic scum and rid of them. They want war. Let's give it to them.
Lindsey.
Well, I got a doozy for you today. Buckle up. This one's going to be good. So, allegedly, Lindsey Graham did not return home from Russia alive. Turns out the word on the street is that in coordination with the United States government, the factory that he inspected was bombed, and the hotel that he and his staff were staying in was also bombed by Russia. Yet there's no word of that, and America's not mad at Russia. Why is that? Because the big conspiracy right now is that Trump is operating a military operation that supersedes the government. He has superseded the federal government and is running the country by military operation, and he is eliminating one by one the people who are reporting internal information, insider information to countries like Israel, countries like the Ukraine, and some of the other usual suspects. Which makes sense if you look at it, because never let your enemy know what you're doing. Trump all of a sudden becomes best friends with Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell, the old war hawks, and now all of a sudden we're going into war and everything else. And then I think Trump found out that a lot of the information those two guys gave him was fake. And so, you know what? You can't just come out and have public execution these days. You know, when the republic falls, we won't get an email saying the republic has fallen. We'll just notice we have really leaders and no fixed roads, just kind of like we do right now. The other side of this story is that these guys, Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham, are being set up to take the fall for dragging us into the Iran war, and they don't want to be around to suffer the consequences of lying, treasonous activity that they've clearly committed. But in other news, Mitch McConnell's not alive either. Notice they gave us a Photoshop picture. It was actually AI. If you look at the picture that the government posted yesterday of Mitch McConnell and his wife in the hospital, he's wearing not a hospital gown like you would be in the hospital bed. He's wearing a button-up shirt, sitting there smiling, and if you run it through Grok on Twitter, right now it says that it's AI. So the government gave us an AI-generated fake photo, which is the telltale sign that Mitch is, and he's dead. Again, you could think, Stuman, why are you being so callous about national leaders? Listen, these guys got millions of people killed, thousands of Americans killed, millions of Americans impoverished because of their war crimes and their spending overseas and their just addiction to bloodthirsty bloodlust. If you know anything, Google Ladybugs Lindsey Graham. Yeah, these are terrible human beings. Mitch and Lindsey are probably some of the worst next to Pelosi and some of the Democrats, but by far the worst rhinos to ever be a part of our Congress.
And they know how to cheat in votes because ain't nobody voting for them people. Matter of fact, the only people that even say, oh, Lindsey Graham, you'll be missed, is the media and politicians. And if you read the comments, ain't another person in this country feels that way, right or left side.
Lindsey. Lindsey. Lindsey, 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 Lindsey.
Put your kitties in the other room and put your headphones on because we do mention the grape word in this next segment. But next up, the Mondami files from Libs Meme Central and 1819 News. Mondami is claiming the reason that the rapes are up in New York City are because of the definition change of rape. Of course, it would have nothing to do with the illegal immigrant situation and his Muslim buddies, though, right?
Hey folks, here's the story about Mondami the Mocha.
To know is a lot of the increase in rape also comes from an expanded definition of what counts as rape, as well as survivors coming forward for acts that took place years prior. And what I think is important to know is a lot of the increase in rape also comes from an expanded definition of what counts as rape, as well as survivors coming forward for acts that took place years prior.
We actually still have a law on the books called the Communist Control Act.
Go on.
Even naturalized U.S. citizens, if they are communists, if they carry out communist political activity, they can be denaturalized and deported on those grounds. And so the president should invoke the Communist Control Act and just denaturalize him, send him back to Uganda, and then it's over. Right? Yeah. Like that really is what should happen. Not just with him, but like all his voters. And that's probably the next place that the Overton window is going to necessarily have to shift.
Do it! Come on! Do it!
Deported.
Next up, from Raising Lions Not Sheep, the new rabies vaccine for our pets is more lethal than before. This is something that I've been doing a lot of research on. I've actually Googled holistic vets and natural ways to deworm our animals, and also I have a all-natural flea and tick powder that my girlfriend gave me that I've started to use in lieu of the pills. Well, gave me the recipe for, and then I ordered everything and put it together. It's very easy. I'm also doing the organic apple cider vinegar 50-50 with water in a spray bottle, and between those two methods, knock on wood, I have not seen a flea or tick on any of my animals so far. So I would suggest all of my cannolis out there do your research and do the same thing I'm doing. Go as all natural as possible, aside which many of these homemade treatments or over-the-counter treatments that are safe and effective are much, much cheaper than what the veterinary clinics have been selling us. Kind of like Big Pharma's been doing to humans for years. Marking up the prices and feeding us poison, allegedly. When I called the holistic vet to find out what vaccinations they were using for rabies, the receptionist there informed me that they are using the MRAB because that is pure, according to her. And when I asked about the mRNA vaccinations, she said that her veterinarian would never use those. And when I tried to push the issue and I told her that I'm hearing all over the place that they're going to try to put the mRNA and other stuff in all of them, what would he do? And she said, again, my doctor would never use a vaccine that's got the mRNA in it. So it's good to know there are still some good guys out there. However, unfortunately for me, the holistic vets are anywhere between 2 and 3 hours one way away. But at least I know that if I ask for the MRAB, I should be okay. At least for now. But do your own research on it in your area and see what you come up with and verify what the vet told me. You can't be too careful. We've got to be diligent. They're like our children, and we have to be like combat dwarfs, tenacious and unyielding in the safety and care of our families, and that includes our pets.
In Germany, we have a term for a pocket-sized warrior with the confidence of a gladiator and the height of a carry-on suitcase. and we call them Du Kampfzwerg.
Translated, combat dwarves.
It just keeps getting better. The USDA quietly approved Merck's self-amplifying messenger RNA. The USDA has not conducted any long-term testing and consequently has not warned the public. Merck has launched a new rabies vaccine called Novavax NXT, which is based on saRNA, and veterinarians are now rolling it out across the United States. The saRNA replicates in your dog or cat's body and spreads throughout its organs and brain. Long-term effects? Unknown. Side effects? Increased aggression, excess salivation, seizures, vertigo, paralysis, and death. There was no long-term safety research by an independent lab. Instead, research was conducted by Merck's own Intervet lab over 14 days. That's right, 14. And the results were neither peer-reviewed nor made available to the public. 38 dogs and cats were used for the experimental study, and 35 of those test pets were euthanized after the 2-week research period. And there are other vaccines in the Merck saRNA lineup, such as Novavax NXT feline leukemia vaccine for cats. Then there is the Novavax NXT canine flu vaccine for dogs. If your vet actually convinces you that your dog or cat needs these deadly shots, they are not inexpensive. Then there's the shedding. There is limited data on shedding from pets, but if you jab your pet with saRNA, you can bet your boots that you won't like the shedding if it happens. Make sure you have a veterinarian who informs you precisely what's in the vaccinations they give your pets before administering them, or find a veterinarian who is willing to tell you. Meanwhile, Big Pharma and Big Food are injecting messenger RNA into farmyard animals, incorporating it into cosmetics, skincare supplements, dental products such as anesthetic shots, floss, and toothpaste. And they are also planning to spray fields of vegetables with messenger RNA. Ask questions, folks.
The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and possibly her pets, who occasionally walk across the keyboard, jingle their collars, drink some water when they can't steal mom's coffee, growl while wrestling with their siblings, and even snore at high volumes when they feel slighted and are bored. Any resemblance to actual facts is purely coincidental, and this show is solely for entertainment purposes only. Wink, wink, nod, nod. While every effort has been made to ensure accuracy, sometimes our brains run on coffee and wishful thinking, and possibly a conspiracy theory or two. This broadcast may contain traces of sarcasm, bad puns, and music to make you dance. Side effects may include spontaneous laughter, eyebrow raises, and the uncontrollable urge to sing along. Listen responsibly.
Next up from Eric Mutzos and I Am Oneness, the Amish knew better, and the guy with the high IQ.
The Amish knew better. They never signed the deal with Babylon. Everybody clowns the Amish like they're outdated. The truth is, they knew what was coming. They made a decision that most Christians were too comfortable to make. They didn't contract with Babylon. They didn't sign into the beast system. No social security number, no birth certificate, no public schooling, no corporate banks, no government dependency on the narrow path. Enter ye in at the straight gate, because narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Matthew 7:13. While we were learning to salute the flag, file taxes, register our children, and finance our lives, the Amish were building farms, raising families, and staying in covenant with the Most High, not with the corporation. They knew that once you contract, you give them jurisdiction. And once they have jurisdiction, they'll own your land, your name, your kids, and your future. You were bought with a price. Do not become slaves of men. 1 Corinthians 7:23. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Hosea 4:6. The Amish weren't being religious. They were being righteous. They knew you can't serve two masters. You can't serve God and sign into Babylon. You can't claim freedom while begging for license. And you can't call yourself sovereign while still under Caesar's terms. You want to know why the government never forced their hand? Because the Amish never signed the dotted line. No contract equals no control. Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins. It's wild. The people the world mocked for being old-fashioned might just be the only ones who were walking in true freedom all along.
First, God exists.
simulation. 100%, I believe. As mentioned before, assuming that AI or AGI, ASI continue to advance, just like we will be able to create highly advanced virtual realities, then I consider it is likely that we ourselves exist within a simulation created by a higher dimensional being. With this approach, we will be able to understand the concept of ultimate reality or God. Please note that I hold a bachelor's degree in theology from Yonsei University from South Korea, which is the #1 private university in Asia according to US universities ranking. But I am not religious, but spiritual. President Donald Trump believes in God as well. Trump said, faith is more powerful than government, and nothing is more powerful than God. I agree with him, and I love this statement.
The next two are the miracle stories. I'm sorry to do this to you, cannolis, again, but the second video is pretty graphic, so put your headphones on if you're in the office and send your kiddies in the other room again. But here's a double shot from Cade Garman and Luke 17:12.
I get called out to a customer's house because her heat was out. So the lady calls me and she says, the house is really cold. She gives me the address. Drive out to the property. The lady opens the door. I say, hey, I'm here to fix the heat. She just kind of says, okay. And so I go in and I'm troubleshooting the furnace. The house, I think it was about 40 degrees in the house. So I'm troubleshooting the furnace. I'm in there freezing and I find out what it is. There was a relay that was bad. So in order to make sure that I was right, I got the relay from my truck going. I swapped the relay out just to test it to make sure that if the unit runs, that nothing else is going to be wrong. So I swapped the relay out, run the furnace, it's heating the house, it's doing really well. Everything else in the unit was fine. So I go to the homeowner, she was right there in the kitchen. I go in and tell her, hey, good news, it's just a relay. I've tested it and everything. If you want to go forward with that repair, then it's going to be, and I think at the time it was about $200. And she said, okay, well, are you going to call my daughter and get the approval? And I said, oh, okay. Is your daughter the one that called? And she said, yes. So I said, oh, okay. So, because I initially thought it was the lady that called me. So I called the number to the person that called and I said, hey, ma'am, I'm here with your mother. And good news, it's only the relay and blah, blah, blah. And she says, no one is here at my house. And I said, what do you mean no one's at your house? She says, I've been waiting here for an hour and no one showed up. So then I verify the address with her. She says, no, you're 4 houses down. So I went to the wrong house. So I go back in the kitchen. I say, ma'am, this has been a misunderstanding. I went to the wrong house. And the lady says, so my daughter didn't call you or anything? I said, no, I just went to the wrong house. And so the lady starts to cry and she says, I just prayed this morning. I told the Lord that I don't have the money to fix my heat and my house is freezing. And I asked the Lord if he would send someone to fix my heat. So she prayed that morning. I got confused, went to the wrong house, changed the relay. It was already on there. And I realized that I was an answer to prayer. And I'm not going to argue with that. So I said, ma'am, it's on the house. It's completely free. Left her with a nice warm house, went 4 houses down, fixed that furnace, and that is one of the most amazing, craziest stories in Fayetteville since we've been running our air conditioning business the last 22 years.
This preacher was beheaded, and they threw his head on one side of the road, and they threw his body on the other side of the road. And it was kind of as a statement, don't come in our village. And it was done publicly. So a Muslim man who's not from that town was walking to that town, and he saw what happened, and he said, this is wrong even for a Christian. So he picked up the head, and he set it by the body just as an act of sanctity of life.
Wow.
Good Samaritan. And when he did, the head reattached.
And then what happened?
And he came back to life. And the guy was so astonished, he shared salvation with them, gave his life to the Lord. Then the man walks back with this guy into the village. And they'd all seen what had happened when he was killed. He still had a scar all the way around his neck. And I've met 2 people that have met the man who was beheaded.
And he's still preaching?
He's still preaching, yes. And the village gave their lives to the Lord. This is not an old story.
Pretty amazing stuff, huh? Round in third and headed for a home with some comedy from the Hammer Swingers, Gen X Jono, and Jeremy Shields.
Everywhere I look these days, I see some strange new ways. Something must be wrong with the world today. Common sense is gone and the world's ablaze. People act so dumb in a toxic haze.
Only ones that should be deported are the white people, because no white people actually belong in this country.
So where are you going? What species are we?
No way she misses this one.
Heterosexual.
Alrighty then.
Name 3 countries besides the USA.
Worst case scenario, she gets 2. I mean, Canada's right there. And France, Italy, Greece, come on.
Alabama, North Carolina, and India.
I seem to be detecting a pattern here. Maybe we ask someone else.
Alaska, North America, South America.
Alright, so that didn't help, but gotta admire her confidence.
How many continents are there?
Alright, now you're just begging to be disappointed, and also, I think some kids are learning that Eurasia is a thing. So, I mean, I learned there were 7 continents, but some kids are being taught 6. I'll take either answer.
51.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Name 1 continent.
Indonesia.
Remember when a mind was a terrible thing to waste? Yeah, maybe we bring that back.
Name 2 countries in Europe.
Dude, she couldn't do 3 countries anywhere. And now you're asking her to do 2 countries in Europe? Okay.
Europe.
Well, technically Europe is in Europe. Can we give her 1?
France.
There's 2.
Paris.
Dude only asked for 2. You could have stopped.
The government building, the Pentagon, is what shape?
A triangle.
Maybe geometry was important. And also, yeah, we're laughing now, but someday her generation is going to be taking care of us. So, yeah.
Hello, my name is Jeremy Shields. I would not like to say anything in particular. I just wanted to take this time to showcase my talents that I gained in elementary school to help propel me towards my future. That was hot cross buns. This next song is called Mary Had a Little Lamb. Let's begin.
In closing, just a quick blurb. My contact information has been the same for 20 years now, at least. So if you've been able to get a hold of me before, especially in the last year, chances are very good that you would be able to get a hold of me now. And if there's some reason that you're not willing to give me a call, then that indicates to me that there's something very sneaky going on here. Because the first thing that I would do would be to initiate a 3-way call and bring all my receipts and all my correspondence and put any issues, especially those that are questioning my honesty and my endeavors, to rest. I felt that I needed to say that because there's a disturbance of energy in the force that I've been feeling for quite a while now. And being the straight shooter that I am, I want to grab the bull by the horns and put any problems to rest that may be existing. So for any of your spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional needs, and for those of you who want to reach out and may have forgotten my email, even though you have my number, it's Maggie, Maggie _heart at outlook.com. Let's use that email to set up a phone appointment or a video call, 3 ways. And for those of you seeking help, get a hold of me. Let's get you fixed and get you on the right track. Please like my Facebook page, The Positude Podcast. Also, my YouTube page that I'm trying to get going. There aren't very many people on there, and please subscribe to ERRT Radio on YouTube. Thank you all so much for listening and supporting me. Thanks to all of you who correspond by email and in the chat. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. Good night, cannolis.